This is the Horror Movie Show on HMPod.com, hosted by Jerry and Mark, your one-stop shop for all horrible movie reviews. From the latest blockbusters and independent films to classics, let Mark and Jerry convince you the world is a dangerous place, though often good for a laugh. Now come and listen to the Horror Movie Show, if you dare.
Howdy folks, Jerry here.
And Mark.
Bringing you another episode of the Horror Movie Show on HMPod.com. So, what's new in this Yuletide season, Mark?
Yuletide? Well, I went to a really nice birthday bash the other day.
Oh, yeah? Oh, what kind of loser
some old
still has
geezer was growing older.
Yeah.
But I hear he skipped a year, so...
I know. Yes, he's talking about my birthday. Had some friends over, and...
lo and behold,
I discovered that I wasn't turning the year I thought I was. I was actually a year younger. It's very, very bizarre. Mathematics never been, or even arithmetic's obviously never been my strong suit.
So I just think it's funny that you're so ecstatic, and elated that you have another year.
I do. Another year to suffer. Another year to suffer before I finally die and have a rest. So, speaking of dying, we've got lots of movies to talk about. We're gonna start with our two favorite American zombie series. The Walking Dead has wrapped for the first half of its season. So, what was the big climax at the end of episode number 8 of the 5th season? What was the cliffhanger?
I'm trying to recall.
So it was the cops. It was the cops in the hospital.
Oh, that's right.
So it's the big showdown between Rick's group and what's her name? Dawn's group, Officer Dawn's group.
I found the episode very slow.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. I mean, they were just talking way too much.
Very strong beginning to this 5th season, but not the best cliffhanger.
And then the last 5 minutes, it picked up again.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. Of course, they'll be reserving their energy for the 9th episode, which isn't until February. So.
Yeah,
a couple of months.
What I didn't understand about this is that why did they bring that guy with them? Why did they meet in the hospital for the exchange? I just didn't understand that part. Why go right into the lair of your enemy in order to do an exchange?
Yeah, but they had to meet somewhere. And
but why right in there?
Meeting outside would have been a bad thing. And you're causing trouble for everybody. Besides, it's a show of strength. It's a show of strength for Rick's group to go into their territory and get there so
and how
easily.
did that turn out?
Well, okay, people overreacted. Dawn overreacted, and the idiot little sister. Jeez. Anyway, somebody's got to die.
Yeah, and so they did.
There's always for the cliffhanger, some main character always dies. Who'll die at the end of this season? My guess would be anybody but Rick. He's the only one who's probably got a pass through all these seasons.
Yeah, I guess because he's still alive in the comics.
Yeah,
so.
Well, yeah, if that means anything. And then the other series we're watching is Z Nation, and that's also wrapped. That's wrapped for the season, for the whole year. I've been enjoying that. It's not bad.
I think the last line in there is like, I hate apocalypse.
Yeah.
When he sees the rockets coming towards him.
That's right. Yes, that's the big cliffhanger for this year's Z Nation.
Is rockets are going everywhere.
Nuclear Armageddon on top of the zombie apocalypse. I suspect, and of course it's the only way they could continue the series, that it'll be a dud. It'll come in and it'll just sort of fizzle out.
No, I think they're just going to blow everything up. It'll be a 5-minute second season.
Yeah.
Everybody's dead.
Well, that might be good. I just can't believe how stupid some of the characters on Z Nation are, and intentionally so. They're written that way. The old fart, Doc, the crusty old dude who's watched a lot of medical TV. They're transporting this guy who was given a possible vaccine and was attacked by zombies, and he's turning into a zombie, but he's still human. And they have to get this guy to a lab where they can synthesize his blood into serum. But Doc starts telling him, "Oh boy, I'll tell you, as soon as they get a hold of you, they're going to make your life hell." And he goes on and on and on about how awful it's going to be and what a hell this poor half zombie's life is going to be. And of course, he has no loyalty to anyone anyway. He's a scumbag. So this is just more fuel to him just running away.
Yeah.
And why not?
Suddenly these things are dawning on him that life at the lab isn't going to be as rosy as he thought it was going to be.
No, at least not at the beginning. It's a pretty good series considering that it's coming out of the Sci-Fi Channel, which generally produces Drek only. I think they have an all Drek policy. And of course, as we've said before, you compare it to the production values on The Walking Dead, and it's like night and day. It's like, any of these independent horror movies that we watch compared to a Kubrick movie. There's just no comparison. Walking Dead is slick, and Z-Nation is cheap.
Yeah, well, you say that, but at the same time, it's entertaining.
A little bit.
And I find the pace really nice.
I don't like it anywhere near as much as Walking Dead. I'm finding
Walking Dead is hit and miss for me these days. I mean, it's like half of the last show was just dialogue between Beth and Dawn. And it's like this, they're moping around and talking and talking.
I like that. I like the characters being developed. In Z-Nation, the only character who's really been developed is the zombie.
Yeah, but I was sitting there talking to my son about it, while they're having this dialogue, and I said, why are they expanding all this stuff when they're just going to kill these guys off anyway? And lo and behold, they did. They killed them both off, not just the one I thought. Dawn, I figured, was toast, right? And they killed them both off, so I'm going, well, now everyone can just forget about that dialogue. Let's go find someone else.
But you don't. I mean, the fact that they had that conversation was important. It tells you something about them and the world they're living in.
Yes, it does say that, but at the same time, the things that are concerning me are, what are they going to do with the world as it is, and is it going to be solvable? Is there going to be some sort of inroads on the zombies, or is it just going to be the same old,
Yeah, but that's among the stuff they're talking about. So that's all important. It's all getting towards that.
I hope so, but they're going too slow as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you should phone them and tell them how to do it right.
I will.
So, now this is our Christmas show.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, bleeding ho. So we've got, God help us, a whole bunch of Christmas movies. However, I think they're pretty much all movies you should avoid. So this is our
most part.
This is our Christmas present to you. These are movies, and we're warning you not to watch them.
Yeah, never. Well, not all of them.
Not all of them, but many of them.
Anyway,
we'll begin with a stinker, and then we'll follow up with another stinker. But we'll begin with Silent Night, Zombie Night. This is a 2009 movie written and directed by Sean Cain, and may Jesus forgive him. It stars Jack Forsenito as Frank Talbot, Andy Hopper as Nash Jackson. I love these names. Nadine Stenovich as Sarah Talbot, Lou Temple as Jeffrey Hannigan, and Vernon Wells. He's getting a lot of work in horror movies as Paul Irwin. So this one is about a pair of cops. One of them is married to the Sarah Talbot character, and they're both in love with Sarah. She's had a one-night stand with the partner cop, the Nash Jackson character, and Frank is just ready to leave both of them. He's on his last shift with his partner Nash, and he's going to leave his wife as well. So that's the situation, and lo and behold, right at that moment, the zombies appear, and these guys are about as surprised that blood-sucking zombies are showing up as if they were like homeless people wandering around. They're not horrified. They're not like stunned into amazement. They just start killing them, and that's it. It is just a terrible, terrible, cheap little movie.
Yeah, it really has nothing to do with Christmas whatsoever, but it happens to fall on Christmas Eve or something like that.
Yeah.
So everybody's in a festive mood, I guess, and there's ornaments out on the lawn and things like that.
And there's one big fat guy zombie dressed as Santa Claus.
This show has a lot of dialogue where them just sitting in a house, kind of bunkered in
Frank's house,
and discussing relationships, and that's about it.
Yeah,
it's like they're really not just too concerned with the zombie apocalypse outside.
Both cops spend some time at a neighbor's place.
Yeah, who is hiding in his attic.
And
he's hiding his son behind a blanket.
Yes, God knows what's wrong with the boy. Oh, wait, I know what's wrong with him. No big surprise.
Yeah, and the fool was quite safe up there until he decides to go help at one point, and he gets killed.
Well, yeah.
He gets mauled. Yeah. And then killed.
It's a pretty hopeless situation here. But here's a movie. It goes absolutely nowhere. There isn't anything interesting that happens, really.
The relationship, does evolve. His wife and him make up.
She was pretty. She was a pretty actress.
Yeah. They end up making up, and the partners make up.
Right.
And they end up dying at the end because they all get bitten.
Right.
And the wife has to put them both down.
Right. I think, yes, that's right. Yeah, they save her, and they
both sacrifice themselves.
They prove
for
themselves
her.
to be noble. Yes, that's right. I'd forgotten. It's a heartwarming ending to this.
It's a buddy movie.
Oh boy! If only they'd been on the road, far, far away. Yes, it's okay. Well, that's all I really have to say about this movie. Do you have anything more that you want to drag out?
Well, you say this is a terrible movie.
Oh yeah.
But there are moments that aren't bad, and I found that the dialogue. At least the dialogue was interesting to me anyway. There was a lot of talking and there was a lot of soul searching and things like that. And I didn't mind it as much as you did. So I'm saying it's a mediocre movie. It's nothing great, but it's watchable.
Oh, yeah. If you dislike yourself, watch it. That'll punish yourself. Let's move on to the next one, which is
even worse.
But I actually found it more fun to watch simply because it is so grossly bad. It's called Krampus, the Christmas Devil, 2013 movie, and I'm so pleased to say that I just learned they're making a sequel. Good. So written and directed by Jason Hull. It stars A.J. Leslie as Jeremy Duffin, Erica Soto as his wife Rebecca, Samantha Hepful as their daughter Heather, and what an unpleasant girl she is. Richard Goteri is Captain Farabee, and Bill Oberst Jr., friend of our show, he gets star billing.
Yeah, he gets top billing.
Yet he's in it for no more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, if that.
Right near the end of the movie, the last half hour. He plays bad guy Brian Hatt. So A.J. Leslie's character, Jeremy is a cop, and when thanks to the opening of the movie, we see that Krampus, who is St. Nicholas's evil brother, although Santa Claus is a character in this movie, and he's a real
pretty. He's not a very nice.
He's a cussing swine his own self.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be that lovable guy.
No, so he's working with his brother Krampus, giving Krampus the names of the bad kids to
on the naughty list
and killed.
Yeah,
murdered. He likes to put them in a sack and drown them under ice water.
Yeah.
So
Krampus is kind of a weird dude. He's sort of a goat-like fellow, but all dark. He's black.
He's black, yeah.
And has hooves.
Yeah.
And he's
got a girlfriend.
Yeah.
He's got a girlfriend in his cave.
That I found very interesting.
Yeah. Did you watch right through the end?
That was the best part. It was the end credits were the best part of this movie, because they not only were they 10 minutes long, they had a bunch of outtakes.
Yes. including Krampus's girlfriend doing jumping jacks and showing off her massive
But I love this movie because it was so dumb.
So
Here these
bad.
guys, these 3 policemen are out stalking Krampus out in the fields of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just wide open fields with snow.
Yeah.
And they're dressed like they're gone to war. They look like they've been
they're in camo. They're in white camo.
Camouflage, and with automatic rifles. You know, this is your typical policeman.
Yeah.
You know, with automatic rifles. And they're acting like they're in the middle of the jungle.
Yeah.
They're creeping.
Yeah.
They're creeping
But
in
they're
a
the
wide
middle of
open
a
field.
Snowy field, yeah.
Snowy field where you can see them a mile away.
Yeah.
They're sitting down there creeping.
Yeah. Because they've got their white camo on, but on top of the white camo, they've got their solid dark green bulletproof vests.
Vests, yeah.
So, whatever advantage the camo gives you is ruined
By the vest.
when you put the vest on top of it.
Yes.
Oh, it is so amateurish.
And then they're creeping along, and he's giving them their hand gestures in the instead of just walking along because they can see a mile away.
Yeah.
And then when they see Krampus, they just open fire.
Yeah.
And it was so bad that
useless.
you're watching them fire their weapons, but you can't hear the weapons. It's completely silent.
Yeah,
it's like they didn't have a microphone to record
the scene that really killed me with the cops is in the bar, and there's always a bar that the cops all like to go and drink at. And behind the bar is an ex-cop. All the guys drinking there are active cops. And here comes our hero Jeremy, and he sits down, and the other cops all hate him because he got his partner killed, whatever. They're calling him a coward and so on. So 3 of them jump him, and he manages to knock 2 of them out, but the third one gets him on the ground and, is wailing on him when the captain, the big fat captain, and the bartender both show up. I guess the bartender was in the back having a poop or something. Because he comes out and the captain walks in, and they then decide to kill the bad cops.
With a baseball bat.
With a baseball bat. So bad enough that, by the end of it, the captain is joking with the bartender, guess I'm going to have to hire 3 new cops. Because I just murdered 3 of my men.
But the thing... Okay, the way... this is how it works. They're in the field. They're after Krampus. Yeah. Krampus captures them. Kills one, captures a couple, ends up killing the other. The main cop, he gets away.
Yes, he runs away.
And he runs away to the police headquarters, says, we gotta go help these guys. Yeah. Oh, we gotta... And the chief of police goes, go take a shower, you stink.
Yeah.
And so he goes and takes a shower, and where does he go right after the shower? To the pub.
To the bar.
And he starts drinking.
Well, he's told, you take the rest of the day off, and at the same time, the captain agrees, yes, we'll all go and rescue these guys. But the cops never go back to this cave.
No.
They just never do.
And the other thing about this movie, there's just so much to talk about. The kids in this movie who are supposed to be really naughty were the nicest kids I've ever seen.
One of them seems to be on the death list because he got upset during a Monopoly game and threw the board up in the air.
Yeah.
And that seems to be his unforgivable sin.
Yeah, and the other one was he tortured a small animal, a rabbit or something like that. And Santa says, that's it, you're condemned to hell, we're going to kill you.
We're going to kill you. Yeah,
because you tortured... But the kid, the one they kidnap...
The one that's in the cage.
Yeah, I mean, he was at his parents' place, they were playing really nice with this girl. Mother says, can you walk so-and-so home, who's a neighbor's kid? And he holds her hand, and they're walking down the street.
Yeah, but he had knocked over that Monopoly game, So.
And he was a polite little kid.
Yeah.
And then, waved to the girl, made sure she was home safe, turns around, and Krampus grabs him, stuffs him.
Bag is over his head. And
then when they were talking to him in the cave, the kid looks so innocent.
Well, he is.
I mean, it was like...
Santa comes in and essentially, Krampus doesn't talk much, but Santa comes in and berates the little boy and says, okay, you little son of a so-and-so, you effing little ass. You know, he just cussing the kid out. No, all the 4-letter words, and the little boy in the cage is like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And they say, all right, your Christmas present this year is, we're not going to kill you, I'm going to let you go, but, you know, we got to concentrate on there's some young girl that they have to Oh, yeah, it's the cop's daughter. It's Jeremy's daughter. And Jeremy, of course, is obsessed with Krampus because we see at the beginning of the movie in flashbacks that Jeremy, the cop, was himself kidnapped by Krampus.
Yeah, at the very beginning.
So he's been hunting Krampus ever since.
Yeah.
And he's got this map of North America on his office wall with these pictures of missing kids, like 6 cities around North America. That's all the missing kids?
Yeah.
In all of, like, 30 years.
Yeah.
It's the only ones are in these 5 or 6 cities, and there's only like 4 or 5 missing. It's amazing, because I just would have thought, sad fact that it is, there's probably more kids missing than, 20.
I thought it was a nice touch that they actually listed all the kids in the end credits.
Yeah,
that they had the pictures on the wall.
Sure, they'd taken their school photos or something.
It was just so weird. And that whole thing about Krampus torturing that naked lady in
that's his girlfriend,
cave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like...
Yeah. She's not being bad or anything. That's his girlfriend. I think she's listed at the end as Krampus's girlfriend.
What's that? But what's with the torture?
I don't know, but she wasn't really upset. She was just sort of going along with that, you know. He likes a little sadomasochism.
You know, she's got her arms tied up above her head.
Yeah.
She's hanging from the ceiling or something.
Topless.
And she's topless, and he's kind of like pawing at her.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what does this have anything to do with this movie?
It has nothing to do
Bill
with the movie.
Oberst Jr.
Yeah.
The whole thing of him was he was put in prison by this cop.
It's a total red herring. So for 10 years, Bill Oberst has been in jail for murder. He's a psycho. And now he's out and he's sworn revenge against Jeremy the cop. So this is another thing. I kept expecting that maybe Krampus would show up, kill Bill Oberst Jr., save the family, and wind up being sort of a hero.
Yeah.
But no, they never even really... Oh, yeah, he does. He does do that. He does come in and kill Bill at the end.
Yeah.
But he doesn't rescue anybody. The daughter is still taken away. Isn't everybody dead by the end of this movie, too?
Pretty much. I mean, Bill does his same old. He's just sitting there terrorizing a woman that's tied up and yelling at her and screaming at her and making fun of her.
Yeah, he does yell and scream in this one, but I think he's more menacing when he's whispering and, almost talking baby talk to her.
Yeah.
But I thought, and... rightfully so, he gets star billing on this, although he's not the star of the movie by any means.
No.
The guy playing Jeremy is, and that's not good. But Bill really does seem to be, a level above all the other actors.
Oh, yeah. But unfortunately, it really didn't suit the movie.
No, he's really like a fish out of water. It's an unnecessary red herring. Because there's enough menace from Krampus, we don't need the menace of a newly released maniac.
Yeah,
it's just kind of pointless.
Yeah. The whole movie was pointless.
Very pointless. Yeah. Okay, well now this one, Mark and I didn't think was on the same level of stinkiness as the last two. A movie from 2003 called Dead End, written and directed by Jean-Baptiste Andrea and Fabrice Canepa, although it doesn't sound it is an American movie. Ray Wise, who's been around a long time, he was Laura Palmer's dad on Twin Peaks. He was one of the gang in the original RoboCop.
Yeah.
He plays the dad, Frank Harrington. His wife is played by Lynn Shay, Laura. Lynn Shay is well known these days from the Insidious movies. She's big in horror these days. Mick Cain plays their son Richard, better known in the movie as Dick. Alexandra Holden is their daughter Marion. Billy Asher Rosenfeld plays daughter Marion's boyfriend Brad. Amber Smith is the lady in white, and Steve Valentine is the man in black.
And that's the whole cast. Pretty
much. A few nurses and doctors and stuff at the end of the movie, but it's almost entirely takes place on Back Road.
Yeah, you're either in the car or outside the car.
And if you're outside the car, you're going to die. So stay in the car. Same advice as on the river in Apocalypse Now. Never get out of the boat.
Now, it's an interesting movie. It's the production values are very good. The actors are
they're okay. It's not a beautiful movie.
No, I'm just saying for what it is. It's a real low budget kind of
reminded me
thriller.
Of a TV movie.
Yeah,
it looks like a TV movie, although there's enough cussing in it that I guess it is theatrical.
They're on their way to Grandma's place.
Yeah, the idea is that they're going to the mom's family's place
for Christmas.
For Christmas, yeah, it's Christmas.
And they've been doing this
Christmas
for 20 years.
Yep, they've been married 20 years.
So the nightmare
and they essentially don't like each other. None of them really likes any of the others.
Yeah, the family is not really a close-knit family.
The only one who's at all nice is the daughter.
And the boyfriend.
Yeah, well, no, but even he's threatening to murder the brother who keeps
because he's such an ass.
Yeah, he is.
The kid is such an ass.
He keeps needling everybody. He's playing younger than he actually is. You know, he looks like a guy in his 20s, but he's supposed to be an obnoxious teenager. The mom and the dad are sniping constantly. It gets to be kind of a drag.
I thought the mom was brilliant, the way she went crazy.
Oh, when she cracks up.
If she was the scariest thing.
Yeah. So the idea is that the five of them are driving along dark road.
Dad wants to drive.
Dad always drives. They're going along. Everybody is asleep, and Dad starts to nod off as well. And the next thing you know, he's having to correct the car's going off the road. Right, okay, something bad almost happened, and I knew right away what the plot was, because now they can't ever get off this side road that he's put them on, this detour, and there was no surprise to me that they are not where they think they are.
Yeah.
However, it's, for that sort of a twist, it's done fairly well, and it held my attention. The silliest thing for me is that the father just keeps this ridiculous notion that we can't be far now, and they get it back in the car and they drive for another 3 hours and they still haven't found anywhere.
Yeah,
nowhere.
And the fact that the presents they have in the car just happen to be alcohol and a shotgun. Useful stuff. Both things that come into play, and and the dad is just chugging away, and still he won't let anyone else drive.
No, but also, if you notice, he never gets drunk. He's drinking and drinking, but he's not really getting drunk.
He's getting sloppy, but not that drunk.
No, I don't think so. And the shotgun isn't as dangerous as you might think either. It's a silly movie, but as I say, it held my interest at least, which is more than Krampus and Silent Night, Zombie Night did. Those are hard to get through.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah. No big surprises in Dead End. As I say, you'll see. I think anybody watching this movie with any common sense will figure out what's happening pretty quickly. The unpleasant son, Richard or Dick, at one point when they pull over, he says, "All right, I'll be right back. Where are you going?" "Oh, I'm going to be alone." And he goes away and he pulls a porn magazine out of his back pocket and he takes the centerfold and with a piece of his chewed gum, he sticks it to a tree because, he's just got to have a wank.
Yeah.
He's got to.
And this is after the first murder.
Oh, yeah.
It's like here they are in the middle of...
The boyfriend is the first to go.
Yeah.
And he's turned into like a pile of hash.
Yeah.
He's just mishmashed all.
And so even after they know there's a murderer around, this kid has to go have his way with himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of shaking my head going,
well, that's how silly
that's priorities for you.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's his selfishness or something, but yeah. That's just one of the silly things that happens in this movie. That makes no sense whatsoever.
There's a black hearse kind of car that shows up and
looks like an English taxi cab.
Is it?
Sort of. Yeah.
Well, no, those are more square. This was a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's a weird-looking old thing. Every time somebody vanishes, this vehicle appears and drives past, and you see the missing person in the back of the black car.
Yeah, kissing the window, kind of with their hands against the windows going, "Help me!"
Yeah, they're not kissing it. They're
practically
desperately trying to claw their way out of the car, I think.
Their faces were glued against it.
Well, yeah, because they're terrified and screaming, "Let me out, let me out."
And they disappear, and then their bodies show up in a deformed...
various states of horrific mutilation.
Yeah, some are burnt.
The sun is burned up.
Yeah.
Mostly they're turned into hash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes from there. And Mom goes off the deep end once her son gets killed.
Yeah.
She just plays it so well.
Yeah.
The father, all of a sudden, who was up to that point just been digging at her with digging, and insults, and all of a sudden he backs off real quick because mom's got that shotgun and she's not looking too good.
No, she's mad as a hatter. She also, to me anyway, I think she plays a shrew more believably than playing a heroine as she has done in the Insidious movies. I haven't much liked her. She was just in another movie we reviewed recently, in which she played the sister of a ghost, and she was a bitch in that. Remember, she's in like the asylum. And at first she seems to be nice and giving the young haunted girl some advice, but it turns out that no, in fact, she was just helping her demonic sister escape from hell.
She does a really great job in this movie.
Yeah,
that was the best performance of the lot.
And I liked Ray Wise, though. I've always liked him because he's, such a fan of his from RoboCop and especially
I like
Laura
him as well, but I thought she did an exceptional job in that part.
Okay, if she's single, expect a call from Mark Lynn. He's young and attractive. Okay, we got another one here. Going back to 1984, Don't Open Till Christmas. Directed by one of the stars, Edmund Purdom. Written by Alan Birkinshaw. And I love this. Additional scenes and direction by Derek Ford. So you have Edmund Purdom, the more or less primary director, playing Inspector Ian Harris. Belinda Main plays Kate Briofsky, who is sort of the heroine, but not for the whole movie. Alan Lake plays Giles, a sort of a newspaper reporter. And Mark Jones plays Detective Sergeant Powell. So this is an English movie. The old cliche, I don't know how many times they showed it, of the New Scotland Yard sign turning in front
everybody
of the
who wants
shop.
to make a cop movie in England just has to walk by that sign, and of course they're policemen.
Yeah. That's the proof and everything. So the idea in this is that there's a maniac running around killing people who are dressed as Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if they're men or women, he'll kill them. Or if they're bums, if they're sober, if they're...
There seem to be a lot of drunk Santas.
There's a lot of drunk Santas, I guess, in England at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is one of the dullest dull dialogue I've ever heard. The policemen are just so dull.
Yeah. Very boring.
Oh, and they're talking away and about there's so many different aspects to this movie that are just so bad.
Yes.
The murders are all sort of done from the point of view of the murderer. And he's running, you can see him running around with this knife. And to kill...
No, he kills people with all kinds of things.
Well, at the beginning, he's running around with this knife, and he just You can see a fake knife.
Right, yeah.
And he stabs them in the stomach, and blood squirts on their shirt.
Yeah.
And that's it.
The blade goes into the handle. You can tell it's one of those show knives.
Yeah. That's about as good as it gets with the murders. I mean, it's like he just stabs and runs. It's like he doesn't.
What killed me is
personally,
this happens 2 or 3 times. He's going to kill a woman, and the woman has room to run on a couple of directions, but instead she simply cowers against a wall and waits for him to get closer, maybe chewing on her knuckles or something. Moaning and not even screaming for help. But the women just sort of stand there, maybe sagging slightly, and he comes along and kills them. He is killing people with different methods, I believe, isn't he? Is he always stabbing?
I think he's just got that sort of razor kind of thing happening.
Oh, yeah. No, he definitely was. He does. He threatens one woman with a razor. He shoots somebody else, and he stabs other people. But he's using all different methods. But ultimately, I just think the people killed and released from this movie are the ones we should be envying. At least their troubles are over.
There's this one naked lady that's dressed up in a Santa coat. Right. And he corners her and kind of plays with her with his blade. Yeah. And then backs off and runs away. Now she's one of the few that escape. Right. But, no reason for it whatsoever. No. But this story is, this policeman, the head detective is looking for this killer. Yeah. Has been for some time, can't figure out who it is. Well, turns out he has a brother. The brother hates Santa Claus because he witnesses his mother making out with some neighbor, and his father gets killed because of it. Right. And this is out of the blue. And out of all of that background, the detective can't figure out that his brother is the murderer. Right.
He's even slightly covering up for his brother. He's like keeping him a secret.
Yeah.
But his brother evidently is able to come and go from the loony bin.
Yeah.
As he sees fit.
Yeah, so he's certifiable insane. Yeah. He hates Santa. He's violent. Yeah. And his brother, the detective, can't figure out who this guy is. Who's killing these Santa guys. Yeah. At the beginning of the movie, he gets this parcel in the mail. Right. And they don't mention it at all until the very last scene. Yeah. The detective has been taken off the case because he isn't getting anywhere with it because he can't figure out who's killing everybody. And he opens his brother's gift, and it's a dancing music box with a Santa Claus. Right. He puts it on the table next to him, starts reading his paper, and the thing blows up. Right. End credits. Yeah. Right away. Yeah. End credits.
But everybody else has died by this time. Everybody else except his brother. And his brother, the maniac, is knocked over a very high banister by the surviving woman. You think she's going to make it to the end of the movie. He falls like 4 or 5 floors straight down, winds up, with what can only be a broken back over a banister. The woman comes sneaking down the stairs, and as she approaches what I would assume is a dead or at least dying body, he's fine, and he grabs her and kills her. Good God. This guy is Superman.
Yeah, and that's how good this movie is.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the ending. I just could not believe it.
Super cheesy. Okay, one more, and this one just reminded me more than any of the others of a TV movie, because it stars Dan Haggerty, who was Grizzly Adams, and also a regular on Little House on the Prairie, I think. Anyway, I always thought he was like a Christian actor, but in this, it's not very Christian. It's called Elves. It's from 1989, written and directed by Jeffrey Mandel. Dan Haggerty plays Mike McGavin, who is a ex-cop trying to live a sober life, semi-successfully. He's been sober 3 months. He had been a store detective, and he got fired from that, and now because their store Santa was murdered, he's been hired to be the Santa, and he stays one night in the department store because there's some suspicious killings going on. Meanwhile, Julie Austin plays Kirsten, this young girl who's who's got a gang of friends, and she works in the store as well, and they're all going to have a Christmas party, little teenage crazy party in the store.
Well, they're supposed to meet up with 3 boys.
Yes, I know.
In the after
they're
hours.
They're going to have a crazy party. So that's what they're doing. Meanwhile, at home, we have Deanna Lund playing Kirsten's mother, and Bora Silver playing Kirsten's grandfather in the most cliched Jewish voice ever. Get me the lox. Get me a bagel with a schmear. And it turns out that that's the accent he's doing, is the I give all the heavy Jewish accent.
But isn't he a Nazi?
He's a Nazi. Hey, at least now I can kill myself. Dare I say it? I put myself in the oven. I just set it at 350 for 2 hours. It's so badly done.
Turns out he's impregnated his daughter.
Yes.
And his granddaughter
Kirsten's mother has been made pregnant by this old Nazi to create the perfect human woman.
Yes.
The pure, perfect Aryan woman
that these elves are supposed to mate with.
Right. and as well, the Nazis had summoned these elves, and so the granddaughter of the old man, who is also her father, she's this perfect Aryan girl, and she's going to mate with this hideous elf.
Yeah, more than one, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
There's 3 of them. There's 3 of them running around.
And their offspring will be the master race, Hitler's master race.
That's the gist of this movie.
Yeah. That's the deep, sickening plot.
And these elves are running around town, causing mayhem. I don't think they are so much killing people as just causing problems.
Oh, it's sort of wanted to be Gremlins, I think, but
yeah,
it has no intelligence or style.
And people get killed along the way by these little elves that are chasing them around the store.
Nazis and stuff.
And the Nazis are on the prowl as well. I just couldn't believe this whole Nazi
meanwhile,
scientist.
Dan Haggerty, Grizzly Adams himself, looking quite fat, I would say, and unhealthy. He looks like he's been drinking.
He's got the same beard, though.
Oh, yes, it's a good-looking beard.
Yeah.
So he's left the bear back in his cabin, and he's in the city drinking, and now he's got this mission where he's trying to protect Kirsten. And, subvert the Nazi cause to populate the earth with elven offspring. Oh, God, to say it out loud makes it even stupider.
And they really kind of padded this movie, I found.
Oh, yeah.
When they were in the forest and the elves were caught Kirsten, her little brother, Willie, is running for help.
Yeah.
I swear it took him 10 minutes to go for help. And they were showing every step he was taking, going all the way home and then grabbing Dan and bringing him all the way back into the forest. And all the while, Kirsten's sitting there going, oh, no.
So there's another character played by Mansell Rivers Bland, which doesn't sound like a real name to me. But the character he's playing is the head of the Nazis, Reuben Kreutz. That name just cracked me up. Kreutz means cross, but a Reuben is a sandwich. So I just see him as being like a deli owner, which is what the Nazi grandpa sounded like. Like he ought to be, running a Jewish deli. Of course it's kosher. What am I, a Nazi? Yes, you are, Grandpa.
Yeah, a scientist to boot.
Yeah, sure he is.
I like the way when he's telling how he impregnated his daughter. He says, I didn't do it any pleasure. There was no pleasure for me.
No pleasure.
We knocked her out. I did my thing. That was it. It was all scientific.
Yeah. The mother who's like
she's
a complete and utter
good
bitch.
one too.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, I can understand why she was pissed with her dad.
Yeah. But she takes it out on the poor, perfect Aryan daughter.
Yeah.
Which is unfair.
I couldn't believe that the warmth she held for
A bitch? You tell me she's a bitch. Oh, you Gewalt. Deanna Lund, yeah. And, of course, we get to see her naked in the bathtub. Oh.
And dead. Yeah.
Cooked. She's cooked. They make chicken soup out of her.
Yeah. Waste not, want not.
Yes. Oh, it's just terrible. All right, so we're going to end on a high note. Movie I hadn't watched until last night in a long time. Saw it in the theater, in fact, when it was new. The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993 movie, directed by Henry Selick, written by Tim Burton, Michael McDowell, and Carolyn Thompson, all based on Tim Burton's notions, his idea.
He wrote a poem.
Yeah.
A 3-page poem.
Yeah.
Called The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, but it's all his, very much his style of illustration and so on. It stars Danny Elfman. He does Jack Skellington's singing voice. He also plays Beryl and the clown with the tearaway face. Chris Sarandon, I didn't realize, does the speaking voice of Jack Skellington. Catherine O'Hara plays Sally and also Shock. William Hickey, funny old dude, he plays the evil scientist voice. Paul Rubens, I didn't realize he was in it. He plays Locke. And comedian Greg Proops plays the Harlequin demon and several others. So it's a musical, which I had vaguely forgotten.
Yeah.
I hate musicals. Just in general, I find them tiresome and annoying.
They're hit and miss with me, and the music in this is so down.
Very mediocre.
There's nothing that you would remember or be able to hum.
No great fun songs.
No.
Nothing like that.
Nothing.
Not even up to the level of something awful like Annie,
Yeah.
There just isn't a single song you come away humming. However, it's the animation that really makes this, that really barrels along. And I watched a little making of, and I hadn't really considered that the 3 very different styles. You have Halloween Town, which is where all the monsters live. You have Christmas Town, and it's in Halloween Town they were given 3 colors they could use, black, white, and orange.
Makes sense.
And then Christmas Town is very brilliant, lots of primary colors.
Yeah, your greens, your reds.
Everything wrapped in
gold,
in presents and so on. And then there's the human world, which is very flat and angular and sort of pastel. So muted colors, but at least we have colors here. Overall, I enjoy the movie. It's got a few laughs in it, although I do think that it's aimed at a considerably younger audience than me. Good movie for kids. As a grown-up, I find it a little on the tiring side.
Yeah.
A little tiresome.
Tim Burton will not allow a sequel, even though Disney has mentioned that they would love to do a sequel.
Right.
Tim Burton's really against it. I didn't know that Danny Elfman was once part of Oingo Boingo.
Oh, yeah.
Which I was quite surprised to learn.
Where he got his start. And then he started scoring TV shows and movies, and he's been doing that ever since. Yeah, and Burton was kind of slated to direct this, but then he got caught up with a couple of other projects that he was doing at the time. So he was the guy was only on set about 10 days. Yeah. And he was a producer, so he kept his hand in. He was okaying what needed to be okayed. But as it said in the making of Henry, the director, they more or less come from the same planet. Yeah, and this was sort of a resurgence of stop action motion, because up to that point, 3 years just to do the animation. Yeah, it was. It took them quite a while. So it was sort of a resurgence of an old technique that hadn't been used, but slick, very slick, amazing stuff that you watch, and each second is like 24 different frames. So it's like it's really tedious to do that kind of stuff. Things have to be, in 1 second, 24 separate tiny movements. Yeah, it's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, it's fun, and of course it fits both Halloween and Christmas. Right in the middle. Yeah. So if you've got a little kid who likes horror movies, This is a good one for Christmas Eve.
Yeah, most of the humor is in a visual thing. It's not they're not talking funny, but you can see a bunch of funny things happening all over the place.
Yeah.
I love the way the mayor had two faces,
right.
The happy face and and the worried face.
Yes, yeah.
It's like two-faced politician.
Well, yeah, or an angry face or whatever he needed it to be. The look of it is very much Tim Burton's. You see a lot of similarities with the semi-live action stuff and the animation in Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, monsters with tentacles sticking out their heads.
You can see the influence there from Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much.
When it first came out, I was really excited, because nothing like this had been out before with the 3D kind of animation.
Yeah.
And what got me is that the music really turned me off to the movie because it's like I just didn't think it added enough to it.
No.
It kind of brings down the story. Every time they would do these
slows it down. Yeah.
It slowed everything right down. So.
Well, that's the way I feel about most musicals. Most musicals, the songs don't advance the story. They simply harp on a part of the story over and over and over. And so, they make a point and then they sing about that same point for 5 minutes. And then they make another point and then they have another song that talks about that point for 5 minutes. And I just think it's a great way to kill time. Unless
it's a movie with just music, then they have to tell the story within Jesus Christ Superstar is the ultimate to me.
But that's more an operetta than a musical. A musical, by definition, has both talking and singing in it. If it's all singing, then it's more an operetta. Okay, well let's. I don't think we really need to go back through these movies. The only one. So Silent Night, Zombie Night, Krampus the Christmas Devil, Don't Open Till Christmas, and Elves are all stinkers. Dead End is a little bit better. It's at least at the level of a worthwhile horror movie. And, of course, The Nightmare Before Christmas is most people would consider that a classic.
Yeah.
Although a little dull.
Yeah, they bring it out at Disneyland between Halloween and Christmas. They redecorate the haunted house in
they ruin the haunted house because they do it up with all this cutie crap from Nightmare Before Christmas. I was really disappointed last time I went to Disneyland. And
really?
Yeah, they ruined it. Who cares, all this childish crap? I'd like to see them really terrify people. I'd like to see ambulance crews waiting at the exit of the Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to see. All right, so Merry Christmas, folks.
Merry Christmas.
Hope you have a good Christmas and season's greetings and Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and all the rest of that. And we'll catch up with you just before the